Oh, you know what? Maybe the light blew out. Oh, that's what it was. One of them
It's
hit the
okay,
light. Oh,
Walter. It's
shoot.
no problem. That's why we edit things out and stuff. That's why we do it this way. Nothing live.
Got you, man.
I never
Listen.
do live ever again. I had one interview. It was the manager was on there. They had to wrap something up. He turned the phone over to me. He was like, "We got to wrap this up." I'm like, "Never
It's
again."
wild. Hey,
So
listen,
Walter, super
safeguard. I get it. I get it.
thank you. So super excited to have you. I just want to get into it. Being from Philadelphia now, with your acting career, you've been in the business for a while. I don't want to age you too much in this interview. Let me know about, who you are, who really Walter is beyond seeing you on TV.
Hey, listen, Walter is a homebody. When I was young, I was out there, I was doing a lot of things, man. I was a network administrator for GTE back in the day. I went through the whole merger, Y2K, that merger with coming into, Y2K dealing with that. But we went through a GTE Pac Bell merger. Two conglomerates came together to form Verizon. And so I went through all of that, man. Everyone thought the world was going to stop with Y2K and how that, and so I was working nights. And so I was literally there in 1999 coming in. I wasn't partying like Prince, man. I was, I was a network administrator behind a desk looking at, systems, man, just trying to make sure everything was cool. And my life led us that way. I got into that world, had a lot of success dealing in that world, man. And what happened to me is I had a young son, and then another son that had just been born. And I was looking at my life even during those years, trying to figure it out. I was like, this can't be it, because I feel like I made it. At that time, I was making about $65,000 a year. This is like 20 years ago. I doing well. Felt like, people in my community was like, oh, Walt, man, you're doing it, but I was looking to my sons feeling like, man, what do you want to be when you grow up? And that was kind of like the eye-awakening thing for me, because when I was looking at them, it was reflecting back to me. Well, where I come from, wannabes weren't cool. And so it kind of hit me, and I felt like a hypocrite because I was encouraging them to do something that I wasn't willing to do. My life was successful, but I still had this dream that I didn't go for.
Yeah.
And so my deal was like, I don't want you guys to be wannabes. I want you to be gonna bees. And this is what's gonna happen. Dad's gonna step out of the boat, launch out into the deep, and see if I can walk on water so you can too. So when I started my dream, it wasn't about me, it was about we, the entire family, and the nucleus of where I started my journey. And then I just left my career, and my wife supported me, and we just, kind of like at the Beverly Hillbillies, moved on out here.
Nice. I love that. If you don't mind me asking, what age was it that you left everything behind and started to say, I'm going to realize, because I want people to understand, it's never too late to start,
Oh
or it's
yeah,
never too late to stop actually too and start, because there
that's
has to
it.
be a stop and a start for
That's
it
it.
to, to progress.
Yeah. No, listen, man. I felt like I got started late, and so that's what I had the thing of regret already that kicked me in my gut, and I couldn't stand it, and that's what got me to searching. And so little by little, I thought, let me just be the community actor in the theater, and so I started in the theater. But I got started. I left my career when I was 30, so I've been in that career about 7, almost 8 years, and then I just stepped out into nothing, man. And my main thing was I always kind of had like little mantras like stay in faith, walk by faith, not by sight. Whatever a person has, man, it has to be something that elevates you and pushes you forward. And then, like I said, it wasn't just about me, it was about we. So I was successful in Texas for about 5 years, and people were like, well, you can just do it from here.
Yeah.
And I was looking at all my comrades, and I was like, I respect y'all, man. A lot of y'all 10 times better than me. But I was just like, if you still bumping your head against the glass ceiling here, who am I? I
Yeah.
gotta launch out into the deep. I gotta see what's a little farther out there so I can know what it is beyond what I can see. Because I felt like I saw something else in here, right?
Yeah.
And it was about we, even my family, but then that expands like community as well. It's like even like my reaching out is like it's still that we concept. I'm trying to reach somebody. And so I did that and had success. So I said, let's just leave. I sold the house, burned the boats. I was like, I can't go back. I got to go forward now. And I was 35 when I came out here. And I was out here 2 months, man. I wasn't out here. Listen, I know I look like I'm squeaky clean and this, that, and the other. Well, I ain't shaved, because I'm going through a little something. I say I'm just gonna do this for a minute. until I got to get clean again. But my past wasn't nice, man. Listen, I got suspended in the first grade. I got kicked out of high school by the time I was a senior. I caught my first case when I was 14, 15 in Germany, where you're guilty until proven innocent for B&E. I had a record expunged when I was 17, because I caught a case. Everywhere I gone, I caught cases, man. I wasn't here 2 months. I caught a case. So I got a job, and then I was in jail. Just like that, being in California 2 months. And I said, man, this thing, I moved all over the world because I was a military kid. I said, this thing is following me. It's me. And so it was a good thing. And so, like, listen, I gave up everything. I get here, and now I'm locked up. I got my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how irresponsible. I got this habit. The allure before is constantly knocking on my door. I'm always opening it. And instead of aspiring higher, you know what I'm saying? And so the beauty of that kind of a lesson is, and even the struggle, is understanding that it allowed me to find perspective about me.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people were in that rat race trying to find their angle in the industry. And I'm like, man, I'm a 35-year-old man. I just moved out here. I've already been arrested. Obviously, the way I'm doing things maybe have a full of faith, but I'm not using a lot of logic, or I'm stuck in this cycle that seems to be self-sabotaging. And so I had to really look to me in the family as a whole and listen to my wife. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the feminine aspect. You know, when people always kind of say you got to get in touch with your feminine side. I thank God I got a wife that I can get in touch to that helps me get more in touch with my feminine side, because then it offer balance for me. Because I'm telling you, if I didn't have a wife and my kids believing in me to support it, especially doing it at such a late stage in my, like middle age just about when I came out here, I wouldn't have been able to endure.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I think anybody can do whatever they want to do whenever you make up your mind to do it. Like, if I decided I wanted to be a doctor, or if someone decided they wanted to be a doctor at 50, why not?
Nice. I love that. What was it even, starting, at this kind of prime age where everyone feels like at 30, that's when life starts for us, right? But in the sense of acting, it's like modeling or sports. It's like there's this timeline that we kind of have, like you're at the peak and then you're going down.
Yeah.
What was it that kept you staying sane and safe? I know your family, your sister, your wife and your kids, but what about it for you, for Walter, that kept yourself balanced, humbled, and understanding, though I'm here now, I might not be getting what I need, might not be making the strides, but I'm not about to give up. I'm not about to go back, and I'm just gonna have to put my dues in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything. Like, you see, like, great people. I've been surrounded by I met a lot of great people in my life growing up, man. Almost got in a fight with Emmitt Smith when I was 17, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up, I went to the gym with Ronnie. There's a lot of people that I've been around. So I wasn't really moved by a celebrity or anything like that. You know, I know a lot of people. My uncle was roommates with Kobe Bryant's dad at LaSalle. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, there's a lot of things that I just not moved by outwardly. I think the main thing was just trying to focus on the dream, staying in the day, understanding that it's a struggle. If I'm 300 pounds and I'm trying to lose 150 pounds of it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just got to just take it one bit at a time. Like, I can't move the entire mountain at once. Sometimes you got to move the mountain one stone at a time. But let's move the mountain.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to not give up and moving the mountain. And maybe because of how I was bred, my word is my bond. And it's not my word isn't my bond to you out there. My word is my bond to me. That's power. If I give my bond, if my word is my bond to me, then it's power. Then it's bond to you.
Yeah.
But if my bond is to you, then where's my bond to me? Now I'm floating aimlessly, and you might get to where you want to go, but where's that leave me? You see what I'm saying? So I had to. I'm good at tunnel vision. I can focus very well. And then when I'm not focused, I'm like, where am I? Oh, somebody help me, please. Did we get an email on that? I didn't even realize we were supposed to be here. It's all that, right? But when I'm obsessed with acting. Like, I've always been the actor. I've always been the creative, and it got me in a lot of trouble. And was no one ever there to say, hey, Walter, no, you just creative. You know, I thought, well, you know, school's just not for me. I'm not smart. I got to be like these kids over here, even though I don't want to, but I'm still in the environment they're in. And they saying, this is how we going to do it over here. And you don't like it, you going to get whooped too. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you got to kind of play the game and then just to acquiesce your way through it. And so those kind of lessons helped me later in life. Yeah, it seemed like it was hard then, but that was the darkness that the diamond comes out of. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm in the light, it's like, oh, now I can shine bright in that way because that taught me how to acquiesce my way through the stuff and to adapt and but just focus. What's the goal? I don't get on the plane to go fly to Paris and in the middle of the flight say, oh, well, we might not get there. I need to get off. You can't just pull it like on the bus and get off. The destination, the port of call is Paris. So I can't change until I reach Paris. My port of call is success. My port of call is to be A-list. My port of call is to be not the best, but one of the best. You see what I'm saying? I want to be in the conversation. My port of call is to shine and to be the light of the world in many ways with people, you know, suffering in darkness as I have. You see what I'm saying? So I can't get off. I got to reach those ports.
Yeah.
I can't change the destination until I land. And so that was just my call. I was just like, I can't stop until I get there. And I'm not even there yet. So yeah, life is, I'm just grateful for it.
Nice. I love that. One thing that resonates through this interview so far, and I think that's just, we can go on for hours on hours,
Yeah.
but this is not, you do not live your life about you. It's not about Walter. It's about, it first sounded like it was about your, you know, your wife and kids, which makes sense. You're a husband and father, but then it's about people, even people you don't know. It sounds like you live your life saying that I'm here to be a testimony, like the Bible, when the pastor says you're a living testimony, you know, it feels like Walter's journey, my story about Walter is another part of his testimony to inspire others.
Oh, absolutely. All day, I've always been the motivator because I've had to learn to motivate myself. Now, there's been people that have motivated me and helped me to see things about myself that have helped me to rise higher. So I'm grateful for that. It's always giving back to me. I'm like, it's a two-way street. Think about it like this, right? It's like in nature, this Mother Nature, right? So it's the feminine, it's the aspect of, you know, things. So we got a Father God. So, okay, we understand that, right? I breathe in O2 from what? Mother Nature, trees and nature. What do I breathe out? CO2. So they have life. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. As a dad, my kids are masters. Before my firstborn was here, I was going out of control. Every time a child came, and even since they've been in my life, I've been trying to get better, even before they got here. So that's mastery. That's the child teaching me even before it's born. And so now I'm like, now that I got them, God, what do? Father them through me because I don't know what I'm doing. And don't father them cookie cutter. Father them individually because I just don't know. But yes, I'm here to serve. I think even being the actor, I'm the servant. Because without the fans, who am I? Listen, I could have $1 billion, right? And say the currency and the world infrastructure changes, say, hey, listen, currency is no longer valid. We taking goats again, right? So now your money doesn't mean anything. Now you got all the money in the world, but like, let's say, for instance, you got $1 billion in the bank, and I got 10 goats, and there's only one pilot. Guess who's flying out of there? Me.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at life to say, listen, just because you have $1 billion don't make you any better, and the poor person doesn't, just because they living under the bridge doesn't make them any worse. We all is serving everything. It's balance. You got to have 12 hours of light, 12 hours of darkness, a light and day. The sun is up, the moon is up. You know what I'm saying? It's reflected. And I'm serving you, but you serving me. You see what I'm saying? It's service to others. This is what makes life go round and round. If you were just sitting here with all these ideas and no one to interview and no one to talk to and no one to serve it to, you'd be like, man, this food may be good, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What is it? I mean, I think it's great. And mama tell me, but you know, mama love me. You know what I'm saying? We want to serve. That's why you're doing it. We're the same. You service to others. We love what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know,
I
it's
know I'm
funny.
long-winded, man. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
working
no.
on
It's
it.
great. That's good. It helps me understand how to craft the narrative. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's something funny you said about earlier about the external thing, because I had to have a conversation with a friend one time. She was going through a job and she wanted it so bad. She was like, I feel like I have imposter syndrome. I said, well, when you psychologically look at imposter syndrome, it's because it's tied into an external validation. I said,
Yeah, that's
if
right.
you always feel that the next job or the next thing, the next person, something outside of your control, you will continuously be in a vicious cycle because you feel as if
Mm-hmm.
you're not deserving if you don't get it. But now it's
That's right.
because everything is external. I said, so internally, if you say, hey, I'm deserving of just having peace in my life, you're going to be
Mm,
better off. But if you're saying I'm
that's right.
deserving of that CEO job, again, there's a board who has to put you as CEO. If you say
That's
you're
it.
deserving of this man over here, he has to choose you. I said,
Mm,
so we have to really switch up the thing. So I love that you said that, because that's so important, especially in the industry you're in. You know,
yeah.
validation is always caused by people saying, oh, I've landed this role, I'm on this, I'm on that. You know, it's always, as an actor, it's like that's the first question they always ask. So what have you been in, or
Mm-hmm.
what are you in lately? You know what I mean? So how do you keep your self validation in check? I like that word better, self validation, because it's all about self.
Oh, absolutely. I think I know myself. I think that's the biggest difference. I've had some wonderful mentors in this industry starting off, especially in the theater. A gentleman by the name of Akeem Babatunde, his brother Oba Babatunde, you all may know him from Dorothy Dandridge, The Temptations, Life, a wonderful array of movies that he was done, and as well as Cece in the original Dreamgirls on Broadway. I've had some wonderful people. Lily is White. People have spoken things into my life that have helped me to rise. And I was always taught that you're only as good as your last performance. And I think that's the thing. It helps us to stay grounded. It helps us to stay present. Yeah, we can always look at our accolades and use them as stepping stones to go higher. But what's the point in us just getting up there with no one to stand shoulder to shoulder with? There are people that I stand on their shoulders today who were standing shoulder to shoulder. And to me, it's very important to understand that life is just a two-way street. At the end of the day, personal merit cannot come from outside of a person. Personal merit has to come from within. Most people will look outside for all the solutions and never look within to at themselves. That you're the treasure. At the end of the day, and my some of my intention is to shine light on that. Just let people know that. Listen, there's a lot of intangible things, transitory things that we can obtain out here, but they're just things.
Yeah.
Like, who's the thing? I am,
Yeah.
and you can say the same thing. And so we're creators in many ways, and we don't understand that. And some of us are misusing the power. Listen, if I had fire, I could use it to burn the house down, or I could use it to, to serve me in ways where I can confine it so much where I can use it as a laser to cut through something. You know what I'm saying? If I'm trying to light the house and I don't know what I'm doing because I have the power to do it and I want to save money, well, you can do that. So light it and get it going and flip the switch, and the switch is either gonna come on or it's not. But you might turn it on and it might work for 3 months, and then it might cause a fire and you burn the house down.
Yeah.
But when you use the same person that you take the same situation, you put someone that has knowledge of it, right? They're not misusing the power. You bring in the electricity, now the house lights just fine. So is anything wrong with the power? No, it was the misuse of it.
Nice.
So at the end of the day, I just think I'm just trying to just serve in ways. If I'm not speaking it like this, I'm trying to say it through my art. And so the art is what keeps me going. The art has been my salvation in many ways. You know what I'm saying? And so when things save you in many ways, you're happy about it. And then you want to share it. If somebody's a fanatic, like, with tracks, they're like, hey, Jesus today, and someone's like, talking about something else over here, or politics, people, whatever that people get into, it becomes your passion. And so
Nice.
that's
I
why.
love that. I love to leave our readers with a lot of, not only insight in who you are, so conversation sometimes it's the narrative changed for me based off of like, what's the biggest part of this, right? And that's
Yeah,
why I tell my writers, I'm like, you're only as good as your last story. So you always want to make sure it counts. And I tell
yeah,
people, if you wrote something about their latest project, That's a PR piece. That's not what we do here. I said we have a section for that. That's great. If we want to talk about the Oval season 4, we can do that too
Yeah,
separately.
right, right,
But we're
right.
not talking about the person and their story of Black excellence. I exit out real fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, with that being said, my last question for you, I've been enjoying this a lot.
Thank you. Likewise.
What is some advice that you want to give people who are just going through life, as you said, just figuring it out, that sometimes feel like they're taking 2 steps back, that feel like they haven't progressed, I tell people all the time, life is the journey of life is like isn't Google Maps.
That's right.
The problem is you think it's just mapped out for you. I said the destination matters, but if you do think of it like Google Maps, you might have a detour. You might have to stop. You might have to put in gas. You might have to switch cars. I said so you can't think of it a certain way, but so about arriving, because you even just said it earlier, you're like, you haven't like arrived to that point yet. But for those people who just don't feel like it's not in their favor right now.
Yeah, that's when you have to keep your eyes on the prize. That's why I said the allure before is constantly knocking on the door. Even the children of Israel that got out in the wilderness and thought they were going to die. Why you bring us out here to die? They felt like they should have been. You should have left us in slavery, right? And so that's what happens. It's like there's a constant pull and tug of war. When you take a missile and you shoot it up into space, guess what? It's fighting against gravity. And right when it gets right there at the precipice, right when it's about to go into outer space, guess what? It needs extra thrusters to kick in. Yeah. Why? Because there's always that constant thing trying to pull you down. That's just the nature of life in this world, right? But what is the nature of God in you? Lifeward. God is always pulling you upward. Life is always pulling you forward. You don't believe me? Stop trying to breathe right now. Guess what? After about 30 seconds, you're going to want to breathe again. Why? Because life says breathe. Life wants you to breathe. It's not sucking the life out of you. The leaf or the branch out there, it's growing upward. Even if it's bent, it might bend and then it'll try to throw upward even bent. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what I like to tell people is persevere. I've had setbacks. I've had things that I've done since I've been on this journey that says, Walt, you effed up. Jail and other things, bad decisions, poor choices. What are you doing? You're out here with your whole family. My main battle was within here. This is where the battle of Armageddon goes on, right here. Because I had a faith idea and I had a fear habit. And so the faith can only take me to the promise. That's why you get to the Red Sea in a sense. Red Sea is all the stirring of the emotions. Oh, can I get to it? And there's some people that didn't even want to cross over. They didn't have the faith. They died in the wilderness. Why? Because the wilderness is for the wanderers. If you want the promise, you have to dig deeper. You have to look within yourself. You're not going to find it if you're looking at the roaring of the Red Sea. You're not going to find it if you're looking back to where you came from in Egypt, because that's not going to get you to the promise. It's not going to get you to your dream. You have to look within yourself, because that's where you see it. That's where the blueprint is. Why? There's a word that says, the things that you see are made from the unseen. Now, where was it unseen? In me. You had a dream to be a journalist and the things you're doing now and whatever else you do in your life. You had a dream for that hat. You see what I'm saying? Oh, man, I'm going to get that hat. So that's why you got it. I got what I got because that's what I wanted. And guess what? When I was mad, angry, and frustrated and getting in trouble all the time, guess what? I didn't realize that my faith was turned inside out. And guess what? I was getting my faith stuffed in, but it was turned inside out. And it was leading to more debauchery, to more self-object attitudes and getting in trouble and being ashamed of myself. But guess who was getting me there? Me. Because I set myself to go south. But when one day I hit my head against the wall, in a sense, and I was just like, wait a minute. If all this energy is pulling me this deep and into this much darkness, if I just did a 180, not a 360, but if I just flipped it, I'm at my wit's end. When you get to the end of your rope, hang on. And now I realize I got to climb back up. Yes, because I'm at the end of my rope. I don't want to fall. So the only way out is up. But I had to see that within me. I couldn't place blame and put that outside of me. I said, okay, I did this. I'm the one that climbed way down here. It might have been all these things, but that was my reaction to it. Now I got to pull myself back up. It's going to be hard. It may take time. It may be longer. But guess what? I persevere. Why? Because I matter. My dreams matter. And those things that I see are going to be seen out there at some point. If I just keep going, it's not about me. It's about we. And that's how you form your destiny, because you can't just think about it about you. How does it serve? Even if I fall, pulling myself up, it still serves. If I fall on the way down, how does it serve anything? People pity you. But if I go on the way up, they say, well, he was still trying. We could pick up where he left off. We did it with King. We did it with X. We did it with everybody. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, whoever, anybody who's trying to be like you. We're going to do it with all of us that's trying to give light to the world. Because you're doing the same thing I'm doing, brother. That's why it resonates with you. So what I would tell people is persevere. Keep going. Hit that port of destination, whatever it is for you. And when you get there, if you don't like what you see, set yourself for another port. Go somewhere else, but don't go back down. Continue to go up, aspire higher, because that's where your dreams are. Nice. And that's where you get everything you want.
I love that. I love that. This is great. No, this is great. You took me to church. You took me to church with it.
Yeah, man.